Okay, so, funky little thing I found. If I create a world on 11W49A, I'm gonna create it in survival. And all that, I'm actually gonna give this a name. Spawn egg weirdness. And we're creating it in survival because I'm just gonna show this off. It's gonna be pretty much legit, I guess. This is the snapshot where you get these guys. You got all of this. So I'm just gonna grab myself a chest, and we're just gonna nice and quick, just gonna grab all of these spawn eggs. Just one of all of them, because at this point, why not? I mean, the spawn eggs do look really funky in this version. The color schemes that that you might be used to don't exist, but yeah, let's just grab one of each. By the way, they don't stack. You can't stack them. They only stack to one. So make of that what you will. But yeah, there's all the spawn eggs. There's no F3 and H, so I can't show anything about them. But yeah. Alright, so that is that. Let's save and quit the title from this version, and then I'm just gonna ignore the fact that the profile is called 113.2. It was called 1.8. Actually, no, I think this is the wrong profile. What am I doing? I'm loading up the wrong profile. Whatever. No, I believe I need to hit up this profile. This profile should be the right one. So when we load up into here, we can boot up this world. And we're finally able to do the, well, have to wait for things to load in. We're also stuck in the ground. Lovely. But here we have all our spawn eggs. And if I actually press F3 and H, you can see that they all have a tag. They also all have a metadata value. So there's the creeper. It's 50, 51, 52, 54, 53 would have been giant. If you /give yourself a spawn egg with the metadata 53, it actually gives you a giant spawn egg, which is non-functional in this version, by the way. Just a fun fact. Hell, if you give yourself, I think it's a 30, that's an armor stand spawn egg, but also non-functional in this version. So that's just a fun thing. This is the version that has cross-world commands, so, like, in theory, I can just, let's say we are, so I can just do /give, spawn egg, give myself one of them, and I get an ID of 30, and it's a spawn armor stand. As you can see, it doesn't work, but yeah, it exists. It's weird, I don't understand it, but it exists. And so do all the rest of these. Also, I could give myself spawn egg, I don't know, 40? It's command block minecart. Just a fun thing. You can also give yourself an experience orb spawn egg. Weird stuff like that you could technically obtain with cross-world commands, I suppose. But anyway, main thing we're gonna do is update this world to 1.9 now. Because, yeah, so we're just gonna scroll up, we're gonna select 194, And we're just gonna fuck off, Mojang. I don't care. So if I go in here and I load up this world, and we should see that rather than having a metadata value, these have all updated to have an NBT tag. There you go. So you can't just / give the spawn egg that has the metadata value. I think these guys retain their metadata value in the actual save game data, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Don't quote me on that. But they do currently have, but they now have an NBT tag. This was a change in 1.9 that rather than using the metadata value, it uses this uses an NBT tag to determine the entity, and also a bunch of other data for the entity is determined this way. So that's a fun thing. But now we are going to update all the way to 1.13, which is where this gets really interesting. In 1.13, found it. We're gonna go all the way to 1.13.2. So now we're going to load these up. So we're going to load this up into this world. Again, in 1.13, and this is when the flattening happened. So the real question is, what's going to happen to the armor stand, command block minecart XP orb spawn eggs? I'm just going to click I know what I'm doing. I don't really care about this world. I literally just made it just for this demonstration. Because here's the real funky part. Because the normal spawn eggs will convert. They will convert to oh my god, auto jump off. So they will convert. As you can see, the invalid spawn eggs all changed to pig spawn eggs. So you just got 4 pig spawn eggs. But I'm going to show you something. They don't stack. I'm gonna just quickly hop into creative, just so I don't use these up. But as you can see, this guy, it's just a normal ass pig spawn egg. The rest of these, but they have something very important. They have an NBT tag. Oh, by the way, these 3, this guy will spawn an armor stand. This guy's, yep. They all function, but you can see they all have an NBT tag still. This is very important because if I hop over to the creative inventory, to the miscellaneous tab, and I scroll down, you can see, voice crack, you can see that none of these have an NBT tag. So whenever you get around to 23W 13A or B, or the one block at a time April Fool, either of those April Fool's updates that had spawn eggs obtainable, the spawn eggs you would get would have no NBT tag. However, spawn eggs obtained from before the flattening and at some point updated into 1.9 to 1.12 range would retain their NBT tag, and as a result, be able to spawn in the entity in question. Here, which, if you used cross-world commands to obtain invalid spawn eggs, like this guy or this guy, what you'd end up with is, well, they wouldn't function up until 1.12, but as soon as we reached 1.13, suddenly you could have a functioning command block minecart command. Just for whatever reason. I mean, a armor stand spawn egg seems pretty much useless because you can very easily craft these, but command block minecart spawn egg would be pretty helpful. You can also have illusioner spawn eggs if you use cross-world commands. mind you, I'm not sure if you can get crossworld commands to get a spawn egg with a data value that is for an entity that isn't even added yet, and then when you update it to 1. Like that is the because the data value of the spawn egg is actually corresponding to the actual entity ID. So if you have one that has the ID for the illusioner, then would you be able to have an illusioner spawn egg when you updated that? Would it have the tag to spawn in an illusioner, and then when you went to 1.13, you'd effectively have an illusioner spawn egg? Don't know. Maybe we should test that. I want to test that now. We're testing that now. We're hopping back. We're hopping back to 1.8 for this. All the way back to 189. We're gonna do a quick test. This is not gonna be done in survival. I'm just gonna do this on a normal ass super flat world with commands enabled, and I'm just gonna give myself. Please ignore the Factoria videos. So we're just gonna have to go to the Minecraft data values page, and if we go to pre-flattening and we scroll down to the entities section, we can see all the entity IDs. So this is a very helpful to figure out what you need to do when you do /give for the spawn egg. So the illusioner is of course 37. So let's pick it up a new world. Let's call it illusioner ? And we're gonna be in creative mode on super flat. This is literally just testing purposes. In theory, you could obtain this. What was the illusioner, boys? It was 37. So in theory, you could obtain spawn egg, one of them with an ID of 37, and then when we look at it, it just says spawn, which is basically to say there is no entity associated with this spawn egg. It's invalid. It's completely invalid. It's not just that it's a little bit invalid. It's completely invalid. This is not a normal. I'm turning down the freaking music. Jesus Christ. Go away. It's loud. Anyway, so yeah. Now, what I want to do is I want to upgrade all the way to 1.12, and I want to see if that suddenly becomes, an illusioner spawn egg, and then upgrade to 1.13, and then we get ourselves, well, a functioning illusioner spawn egg. I genuinely just want to see if that's possible. Or if what we end up with is just a very broken spawn egg. It does not actually get the illusioner tag. It literally is just it literally doesn't have a tag. Okay, so it doesn't convert spawn eggs that didn't exist pre 1.9. But supposedly with crossworld commands, you could give yourself a chest that it contains spawn eggs that you can then have in future updates. So it would be a spawn egg 1 0, and entity tag would be ID would be illusion illager. Not illusioner, it would be illusion illager. I forgot to. I'm amazing. But yeah, this would be a spawn illusioner. As you can see, it doesn't work in 1.12. It exists in 1.12. And it's like, hey, this is gonna spawn illusioner. It is the illusioner mob that is entity ID that is attached to this, but it is not spawning an illusioner. You might be able to use it on a spawner /give Annabeth spawn. mob spawner. You might be able to use this on a spawner. Oh, okay. So you can still use it to get illusioners in this version on a spawner, but it's not going to function on its own, which makes me wonder. Can you make an armor stand spawner? This is going to be very weird, but can you make it? Yeah, because this is totally something that guy's in the floor. Yeah, because this is totally something that people were asking for. Oh my God, auto jump is back because we keep downgrading to versions that going back to versions that don't have auto jump. So when we come back, it just goes back to the default value. But there you go. We have the we have an armor stand spawner. So yeah, but obviously then when we update to 1.13, as you of course already saw, this is the wrong. They would function. So we'd effectively have an illusion or spawn egg in 1.13. I might try and do something custom that create some custom commands that gives you spawn eggs for these invalid mobs in current versions, so you could have an illusion or spawn egg. It's really just a pig spawn egg that's just kind of disguised. But yeah, let me just go here. The spawners still works, but this is still an armor stand spawner. We can spawn in armor stands, and this is an illusioner spawner. And there's a bunch of illusioners. Yeah. You get illusioner spawn eggs. You could technically also do this with NBT crafting, I suppose. So, like, there's another way to get spawn eggs with an NBT tag, would be NBT crafting, and then you can get spawn eggs for literally whatever you want. But, like, I don't know. I think the upgrading spawn eggs from older versions, so they have an NBT tag is a bit cooler than just we can do NBT crafting. That's dumb. That's boring. This is of course this only works for pig spawn egg. Of course this only works for pig spawn eggs for entities that don't have spawn eggs as of 1.12, but for every other entity that has a spawn egg, it will the corresponding tag will only go with that spawn egg. So it isn't like 100% you can have any entity tag on any spawn egg, but you can of course get any entity tag. Well, you can get corresponding entity tag on its spawn egg, on the corresponding spawn egg, which yeah, it is not as cool or useful. It literally useless. There is no use for this. It's just cool, and it is technically visible, I suppose, because I mean, F3 and H, you can see if it has a tag. I mean, pretty sure it would also have the tag if you renamed it twice, wouldn't it? Like if I go did that and then just like that, see it has a tag. It wouldn't normally have a tag, but that's a renamed tag. What this is well, the entity tag, which you can't do in an anvil, obviously. So yeah, that's basically the entire thing, is that, so yeah, if you ever, yeah, eventually you can get these in 23W13 A or B, or the 1 block at a time example, I don't remember, is that 22? 22W13 1 block at a time? Is that what it is? think so. Anyway, you can get any spawn egg, but they would not have the tag. Well, you could give them the tag, but you wouldn't have them in 1.13. You'd have them in frickin' 1.19 or 1.20. You can't even have them in 1.18 unless you do downgrading, which is downgrading can cause a lot of issues for you. But yeah, just some funky stuff to do with spawn eggs, I guess. They're cool. Yeah, upgrading spawn eggs is funky. Obviously, this isn't gonna give you stuff like where it's not gonna give you a COD spawn egg with a tag because COD didn't exist in 1.12. Fun fact, but you can get it for parrots and slimes. You can, well, parrot, you can't really get it. I mean, you can if you okay, you can get it for anything that existed in 1.1. So you can get it for blazes, cave spiders, chickens, cows, creepers, enderman, ghast, magma cube, blue shroom, pig, sheep, silverfish, skeleton, slime, spider, squid, villager, wolf, zombie pigman, or later zombified piglin, I suppose. Although it does make me wonder if the tag that you'd have on the zombie pigman would update to zombified piglin, which, who knows, could cause some errors if the tag does an update. Could be interesting. Could be interesting. I wonder, can you still convert this into a? You still can convert it into a. You can still convert it into an armor stand spawner. This is freaking cursed. Yeah, the cursed. Yeah, I'm taking a screenshot of this. It's the cursed, super cursed armor stand spawner. It's so bad. Anyway, yeah, that's basically the entirety of this nonsense. So yeah, there's a bunch of slime around me now. It's lovely. This is what happens when you don't have the ability to set game rules on world creation. Just have a bunch of slimes and whatnot everywhere. They also have illusioners, which, yeah, is cool. Those aren't supposed to. So yeah, illusioners, they're great. Would be cool though if you could, if it could just convert those metadata values appropriately into like illusioner spawn eggs or vindicator spawn eggs, but it doesn't, sadly. Very sadly, it does not. Ah well, the sun's going down. I think that's a good end to this video. Bye-bye.